Welcome you all in today's lecture on judo strategy. The judo strategy is an useful strategy which help us to enhance our competitive skill. As we all know that the game judo, in which doesn't matter what is the strength of the opponent, the player can use the strength of the opponent for his own betterment. Okay, so that's why either we will go defensive or offensive. Our way can be anything. It can be defensive or it can be offensive. We have to learn how to transform a movement into a leverage which can help us to gain the advantage over our competitor. So now moving forward, in martial art of judo, a combatant uses the weight and the strength of his opponent to his own advantage rather than opposing blow directly to blow. Okay, so what ultimately happens is, in case of a martial art, the player use the weight of its opponent as an strength, so that the player can take the advantage of his own weight. The player can take advantage the weight of his opponent and use that weight of his opponent as a power to to take a competitive edge over that specific player. So judo strategy is an approach to competition that emphasizes the skill rather than size or strength. So the most important thing here is the skill, not your size, not your strength. Okay, why I am emphasizing why this strategy is emphasizing on skill, or why specifically I am right now emphasizing on skill, because it doesn't matter whether the opponent is large enough, or the size of the of your company or your competitive skill is small. Okay, what you can do is you can focus on that specific skill and eliminate the competition provided by that specific large player. Okay, that's why there is a term coined in the market. The term is known as judo economics. This judo economics describes a strategy that allow a company to use a larger opponent size to its advantage. Let me give you an example. Suppose the moment Nokia enter into the market, okay? Nokia have established a market of telephone, okay? And Nokia was a very big market. It have established the huge market, and it has captured the huge market of mobile phone industry way back in 2000 decade 2000 from to 2010. Okay, throughout the world, Nokia was the largest phone producer as well as phone exporter as well as the phone seller in the market. But then all of a sudden, a small company like Samsung, or a small company like Apple, okay, they have created a product, they have entered into a specific area, they have targeted a specific market, which initially the Nokia was not able to see that what is coming in the near future. But slowly and gradually, no, Samsung as well as the Apple captured the whole market. Okay, and the result, all of which we are aware about, is that Nokia is now nowhere. Okay, so that is what the judo strategy. It describes a strategy that allow a company to use a larger opponent size. The central idea behind this model, the idea behind this model is turning an opponent's strength into a disadvantage. Okay, so this is what happens ultimately. If your opponent is so big, the size, the bigger the opponent is, the bigger the advantage which we can take. Okay, so in case of a Nokia, so Nokia was have done their investment, huge amount of investment in their own system, in their own software, and in their own in their own softwares. So they were not able to accept, or they are not ready to accept the change which were coming in the market. Okay, they were not ready to accept the Android. They were not ready to accept the new operating system. Okay, they are not ready to accept the new music system which was introduced by the Apple in the market. So they have invested themselves heavily in the softwares and in the hardwares, that they can't go for, they can't accept new softwares or new hardwares, which was the game changer in the market at that specific point of a time. So judo strategy can help small companies to enter into a new market and defeat a strong rivals. So in judo strategy, it suggests that we can focus on niche market, we can enter into a specific niche market, or we can just target a single customer. We can provide the satisfaction, or we can fulfill his requirements from our product, and slowly and gradually we will start building our base. Okay, the if we are focusing on a specific small uh, niche sector of the market, till the time we are focusing on the niche market, the large player won't focus on us, and it will allow us to enter into the market. Moving forward, there is a scenario which I have developed. Is there are two ways through which we can enter into a market. So a challenger can decide how aggressively he can enter into a market which is dominant by an incumbent. Suppose if a challenger tries to capture the entire market. So the first scenario which ultimately a challenger will think about the scenario is that he can enter into a market and he can capture the entire market. The incumbent will fight back and probably win. Ultimately, the size of the challenger is so small that for an incumbent, for an incumbent or a large size company, it doesn't matter which kind of a challenger he or she is. Okay, they ultimately will utilize their force and swipe you from the market. Now, however, if a challenger induce the incumbent to accommodate his entry by making a credible commitment to target only a small subset of a market. So the approach of targeting a specific niche market or a specific customer. Okay, so in that case, what ultimately will happen, the large company or the large size opponent won't see your entry as their competitor. They will see your entry as that you are just targeting a specific niche market. You are focusing on your product is not a exact competitor of that specific company's product, but you are targeting a small customer base. So they will accept your entry into the market. Okay, this approach works because the incumbent is better off ceding a fraction of a market than cutting price across the entire customer base. Okay, so this is an example of India which ultimately happened. We all of us are aware about Indian history. Okay, so this is a very good example how British have entered into our country, and later on we are aware what was the outcome of their entry into our country. So in India in 1700, there were only four colonies of British, of French, Dutch and Danish and Portuguese provinces. But later on, from 1700 till 1800, mids of 1800, the British have captured almost entire country. And after that, this is a map of 1947, and we are aware about that. Before 1947, the whole India, Burma, and Pakistan was under the control of the British power. Okay, so slowly and gradually they have entered. Initially, the moment they have entered in 1700, the princely states of India were not aware about what is coming into a market. Slowly and gradually they have started taking control over the Indian subcontinent, and slowly and gradually, the Indian presidencies, which were initially so much powerful, later on the Indian presidencies have accepted the supremacy of the British Empire. And for the moment the Indian presidencies started accepting the supremacy of the British Empire, the whole India falls under the control of British India. So this is a small technique how we can enter into a market. Okay, so now there is an example of judo economics. Assume that an incumbent face a single challenger who has no cost advantage. That customer in this market choose their supplier solely based on price, and that all customer must be charged the same price. Okay, so basically there can be two situations. First situation is that the moment incumbent faces a single challenger, so there is a big company which is facing a specific small challenger who has no cost advantage. Okay, the customer in this market choose their supplier. Ultimately, what ultimately will happen, the customer is the supreme god in the market, which will ultimately identify the supplier solely based on the prices, that all customer must be charged the same price. Okay, so if I wanted to enter into a market as a challenger, then the only thing which I have in my mind is that either I should charge the same price as the opponent, which is a large player in the market, or I should this small price, a price lesser than the opponent's price. Okay, so at the beginning of the game, the incumbent supplies 10 customer with a wicket of $50. Okay, so ultimately what will happen, so the opponent or the large player will ultimately supply give the supply to the 10 customers only with the $50 rupees only at $50. So then the two different scenario can build up. First scenario, or scenario A, if the challenger offers to supply the entire market at $40. Suppose if I decided to offer supply to the entire market at $40. So initially what will happen is that initially I will be able to attract more and more customer, but the incumbent will force to match the price or lose all of its sales. Eventually the challenger will be driven from the market. Okay, so what ultimately will happen, the opponent will reduce their price for a short period of a time. They will reduce the price maybe below than lower than the $40, and they will drive from they will swipe me from the market. Okay, the another example or the another scenario can be there is the scenario B, if challenger only invest in enough capacity to sell to one customer. So the challenger can focus on a specific customer or a specific market, niche market. Okay, so in that case, the challenger can attract a small fraction of a market, maybe only just one customer. By doing this, so the incumbent will find it more profitable to accommodate the remaining populations which the incumbent was initially targeting. Suppose if the Nokia company was selling their mobile phone to 100 customers in a market, a new company has entered into a market, and that's new company, instead of focusing on these 100 people, just focus on 5 people or 3 people or 2 people. They focus on that specific small number of a people. Then in that case, Nokia company will be happy to accept your entry as a very small competitor, not as a very large competitor, and they will share a small fraction of their market with you, because they will be happy to accept their supremacy over the 90% of the market. Okay, now now judo strategy can help small companies to enter into new market and defeat strong rivals through movement, balance, and leverage. So these are the three important principles of judo strategy. A new player can occupy uncontested ground and turn the strengths of dominant player against them. Okay, so once again, if anyone of us wanted to use the judo strategy, we have to be aware about these three principles of judo strategy. Okay, so these are movement, balance, and then leverage. So what does it means? Initially we have to develop a movement in our process, then we have to gain the balance. The moment we have gained the balance, we can just start taking off the leverage in the market. Okay, so slowly and gradually we will learn about this movement, balance, and leverage. So these are the three competitor strengths. how you can turn your competitor strength into an advantage. If anyone wanted to use the competitor strength as their own advantage, they have to focus on the movement, they have to focus on the balancing, they have to focus on the leverage. So movement serve as both offensive and defensive goal. Yes. So the movement, whatever kind of a movement you are starting, you are starting. This movement either can be defensive, or this movement either can be offensive. Okay. So that it doesn't matter how you wanna play or start your market. Whatever your plan is, you can you can generate a movement as per your plan. Okay. So let me just here give you an example of a game of 35. So there in this game I have developed two scenarios. One, in scenario one, the player A started playing first, which I can consider as, or you guys can consider as, offensive strategy. Or in the second scenario, the player A will start playing from the second as a second player. So that can be considered as a defensive strategy. Okay. So before starting this game, let me just explain you the rules. So this is a game of 35 and the rules are very simple. In this there will be only two players, player A and player B, and both the players can choose any number between one from 1 to 5 for any number of a time. Okay. In a single time, at a single step, each player can choose only one number. Okay. From 1 to 5. Okay. And whatever the number has been has been opted by a specific player, that number will be added, that number will be kept reserved, and then for followed by that specific person, the another person will choose the number. The moment the player B will choose the number, the number the number selected by both the persons will be added, and will be done a sum of it. Okay. And slowly and gradually we have to reach to the 35. Okay. So the game, you guys will learn the game, how the game is going on. And the first scenario which I have here, I am focusing, is that there are only two players, player A and player B, and initially player A started as the first player. Okay. So the simple rule is there. There are 1 to 5 numbers. Player can choose any number from 1 to 5, and whatever the number has been opted by or selected by the player 1 will be reserved, and then another player will come and he will again choose any number from 1 to 5, and the number will be added, and so on the situation. We will keep on adding the numbers till the time the player will reach to the sum of a 35. Okay. So in this scenario one, player A will start first. A will suppose the player A started first, so player A opted for the 5, followed by B. B again opted for the 5, so the total reached to 10. Then A opted for 1, the total reached to 11. The B opted for 3, so the total reached to 14. The A opted for 3, so the total reached to 17, followed by B. B opted for 4, so the total reached to 21. Then A. A opted for 2, so the total reached to 23. And then B. B opted for 5, so the total reached to 28. And A opted for the 1, so the total reached to 29. Then B opted for 2, so the total reached to 31. And then finally A opted for 4, so the total reached to 35. Okay. So that means it was A who have started from the first, and it was A only who have reached to 35. So this strategy we can use as an offensive strategy. Okay. Later on I'll explain you how you can play this game. Doesn't matter whether you are starting as a first player or you are following up in this game, but you guys can you can win this specific game. Okay. All you need is to understand the movement you all you know is to understand the movement in this game. You have to start the movement, then you have to gain the balance, then you have to take the advantage, or you have to take the leverage. Okay. So the scenario 2, in scenario 2, ultimately what ultimately will happen, player B will start first, and again in case of scenario 2, if B wanted to start first, B will opt for 5, so the total will be 5. Then A will opt for 5, again the total will be 10. Then B will opt for 2, the total will be 12. Then again A will opt for 5, the total will reach to 17. B will opt for 3, the total will reach to 20. A will opt for 3, the total will reach to 21. B will opt for 2, the total will reach to 25. A will opt for 4, the total will reach to 29. B will opt for 5, the total will reach to 34. And again, A will opt for 1, the total will reach to 35. So here you can see that in both the scenarios, scenario 1 as well as in scenario 2, A was the winner. Why A was the winner, or why it was not B who captured the, who have taken the advantage, even if he have started from the beginning, okay, or why it was A, even starting as a second player, the A won the game. The simple reason here is that this is a game of 35. You have to understand the game. Basically, before starting the movement, you have to be aware about what kind of a movement is required, okay. So this is a game of 35. How to win? And a simple fact: 35 is a number which is divisible by 6 by 6, okay. So the sixth, sorry, 35 is something which is a very important number. The number which was allowed us, the number which we can opt is from 1 to 5 only. So we can opt from 1 to 5, any number of a time, okay. And a specific number which can be recreated by any player at any point of a time was the 6. How I can create 6? Suppose if Mr. B select 1, then Mr. A can opt for 5. So ultimately A can make sure that he can, the next number which will be required from A, from a calculation of a 6, okay. Or suppose if B opted for 5, then A can opt for 1, and again he can create a gap of a 6, okay. So this 6 was a specific number, or a gap can be effectively created by Mr. A throughout in this game, okay. And if you go back into the previous slides, you guys can find that Mr. A have always created a gap of 6, okay. Now why a gap of 6 is required? If we have a gap of 6, then 6 into 6, so basically if we create a gap of a 6 for a 6 different times, we can reach to a total of a 36, okay. And what was the number is required? That was 35. So if we wanted to reach to a level of 35, we have to create a gap of 6 for a 6 different number of a time minus 1. That means we can create a gap of a 6 for a 5 different number of a time, and one specific 5 number is we have to take a call for 5, okay. Ultimately, throughout the game, we have to mark 5 as single, we have to go for the 5 for a single time, and for remaining rest of the time we have to make sure that we should create a gap of a 6, okay. So ultimately how the game was going on, so at the beginning 35 equals to 5 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. So 5 plus 6 is 11, plus 6 is 17, plus 6 is 23, plus 6 is 29, plus 6 is 35. That's how A was playing. So in this game, B have opted for the 5. Then again A opted for the 5. So the total becomes 10. Then B opted for the 12. So total becomes 12. Now this was the movement when A have to take the advantage. So here you can see A have opted for the 5 because 12 plus 5 will become 17. Okay. Now if I go back to the previous slides, you guys can we can understand how we can create the momentum. So A in first scenario, A was the leader, so A have opted for the 5, then he have created a gap of 6, so 5 plus 6 equals to 11. After 11 he have created a gap of 6, that means 11 plus 6 is 17. After 17, he have created a gap of a 6. 17 plus 6 is 23. Then from 23, he have created a gap of 6. 23 plus 6 is 29. and then again he have created a gap of 6. 29 plus 6 is 35. Similarly in this game, since B have started the game, so the player A has don't have any option to create a movement. Okay, so A followed the movement which is created by the B. So B have opted for the 5, A have opted for the 5, total is 10. Then B have opted for the 2. So in this, the movement B have lost the movement, A have tried to gain the movement. How the A have gained the movement by using 5 and by taking his total to the 17. So in this case, at the fourth stage, A reached to 17. Again, if you go back in the previous scenario, so it was A who lead the total at the 17, then it was A who lead the total to 23, then it was A who lead the total to the 29, and it was A who lead the total to 35. So again in this game, what ultimately A will do is he will come at 17, he will come at 21, he will come at 29, he will come at 34, he will come at 35. Okay, so that's what ultimately happens. Okay, and A will gain the game, will win the game. So how we can mastering a movement? Movements of both offensive and defensive, doesn't matter whether you are going offensive or a defensive way, you can master a movement. In this step, one need to maintain a low profile so that while his business is under growing stage, he can avoid attacks from the well establishing player. Okay, so whenever you are building up a movement, you have to make sure that the opponent should not be aware about your moves. Okay, whatever you are doing, it must be within the boundary of the organization. It should, the information of your plan or of your product should not go outside from the boundary of your office. Okay, so the company or the specific individual must have to maintain a low profile so that while his business is under growing stage or while your plan is under growing stage, uh, the person can avoid attacks from the well established player. The same thing happens in the office also. If you are coming up with some new kind of a project and you wanted to complete this project earlier than your opponent in your specific organization, then you have to maintain a low profile. The opponent won't be aware about your move. You can slowly and gradually build up your profile, your movement, and then ultimately you can avoid attacks. At the same stage of the time, he needs to define the competitive space where the company can apply its core competencies. Okay, so the specific point of a time when the player is maintaining a low profile, at that specific point of a time, the player can define the core competencies. The player can work on developing the core competencies. So slowly and gradually, the company will build up the core competencies. Why? By maintaining a low profile, and whenever they will get the time, they will start entering into a market so that they can master a movement, they can build up a movement. So by maintaining a low profile, we can build up a movement. By focusing on our core competencies, by strengthening our core competencies, we can master our movement. Followed by, once the competitive arena is decided, the company should escalate fast so that the firm could emancipate its strength and can enjoy some substantial advantage over its established rival. What ultimately will happen, that we have maintained a low profile. Now we have also strengthened our core competencies. Now what ultimately we will do is we will enter into a very small niche market, and in that specific niche market we will capture easily. Okay, how we can capture easily? We have to make sure what kind of a customer there are there in that specific niche market, what kind of a demand is done by that specific customer, how we can provide the product or solution to that specific customer, or how we can make sure that the customer should get satisfied from our product. Okay, so that will give us the substantial advantage. We have to escalate fast. If the moment we have decided that we have to enter into a market, we have to enter into a market with a specific speed so that we can escalate fast at the very small level, And the moment the company, the bigger opponent, will get to know about such thing that a new company has been entered into our market and they have captured a very small niche market, the moment the company, the major company will get this information, the moment the company will get this information, they will feel relaxed that the company, the new opponent which have come into into the market, they have just focused on a very small number of players, okay, or very small number of customers. So the company, the big company, will feel happy that they are able to save 90% of their market without entering into any kind of a competition with the new entrant into the market, okay. So the judo strategy counsels the challenger to keep a low profile so that challenger can avoid head to head battles in which they are too weak to win, okay. Now the technique, how we can do or how we can master a movement. So the first technique is, the first goal is to stay in the game, or the first technique is the puppy dog ploy, okay. Apple, the Palm describe its product as companions, not substitute for personal computers. So the moment, all of us must be aware about this thing, that the moment the Apple company came up with the product into the market, they have identified themselves as not as the competitor to Microsoft or to the Compact, but they have given a huge advertisement in the front page of the New York Times that they are here in the market in order to help the Microsoft and Compact by developing a small products which can be used by the Microsoft or the Compact. Okay, so they have come up. No, they have built up their brand not as a substitute for the Microsoft or the Compact, but they have called themselves that they are developing a personal computer for an individual, which can help the Microsoft as well as Compact. Okay, so here the marketing rule which will apply on you is either you can push your product or you can pull your product. Okay, if you wanted to push your product, you have to make sure how you wanted to attract the customers. You have to use all your strength to push your product by providing small sample coupons or by providing discount in the market, but you have to push your product. Or if you are an individual who wanted to build up your competitive skills or wanted to gain an advantage on some competitor, then you have to push your ideas. In case of a pull, you have to dig out certain number of ideas from the market, or you have to dig out certain number of information from your office. Then you can develop, you can ultimately start focusing on your own competitiveness. The technique number two, this define the competitive space. Defense or offense. Seize the initiative by defining a competitive space where you can take the lead or take advantage of weakness of your competitor. Okay, so you have to identify, one have to take the initiative of identifying a competitive space. What is my area, in which area I should compete, okay, which is my competitive space, which is my competitive skill, in which area I am more competent than any other, or which area is weak, in which specific skill I am weak. So I have to be aware about my own competitive space. I have to be aware about the advantage of the advantage I have by having some competitive skill, or I have to be aware about the disadvantage of my opponent for not having that specific competitive skill. So then only I can build up a competitive space. The competitive space in which the opponent is relatively weaker than me, we can just focus on that specific area in order to target that specific opponent. Like Samsung with Nokia. Nokia invested heavily in their technology that they were not able to take advantage of a new technology. At that specific point of a time when Nokia was on crash in the was on the verge of a crash in the market, Samsung have adopted the Android system. The moment Samsung have adopted the Android system, it changed the game in the market. It ultimately beat the Nokia from the market, beat the Nokia out from the market, and it make the Samsung as a second largest player in the market. Or now we can say it can be considered as a first major player in the market after the Apple. Now moving forward, the third technique is follow through fast. By combining the first two movement technique, you we can create a window of opportunity. Initially, what we have done is we have just created a window of opportunity. We have built up a specific kind of a momentum, and from that specific movement, we just have created a window through which we can gain some small number of opportunities from the market. Now you need to use this opening to strengthen your position through continuous attack. Now a continuous and small attacks is important in order to make sure that your movement must stay in the order. Otherwise, the moment you stop attacking your opponent, your movement will comes to an end. Okay, so you need to use this opening to strengthen your position through continuous attack. One day soon your competitor will see through the puppy dog ploy. So whatever you have done as an individual or as a company, your competitor will ultimately got to know that you have done certain things. You have entered into a market. Now you are moving to a new area, or now you are giving challenges to that specific competitor. So one day sooner or later the company will be aware about will get this information, or will get aware about your movement, how you are moving. Okay, so one day soon your competitor will see the puppy dog ploy, rise to the challenges of a new competitive space, and seek to bring the advantage of superior size and strength into the play. But till that specific point of a time, the opponent will get aware about your competition or your challenge to them. By that specific point of a time, the we will be, or our company will be so superior in the size that we can fight with that specific competitor in that specific market, which is now ruled by us. Okay, in that specific market we can take the advantage as the largest market player in that specific area. So while Pounce engineering team streamlined the development process for speed, the company's marketers focused on reaching critical masses by starting with the lower prices. So what Apple ultimately have done is they have started focusing on providing the personal computers to mass at price which is which was so smaller, or which was so less that the Microsoft was not able to fight with that Apple company at that specific price range. So Microsoft ultimately started accepting the fact that the Apple can provide the computers to the individual for their own personal use, whereas the Microsoft was happy that they were able to retain the market of organizations and the market. Okay, so the Microsoft was happy to retain the organizational market. They were happy that they are able to sell their computers to the industry at large. And the Microsoft at a specific point of a time thought that since this is a very industrial oriented product, the computer is an industrial oriented product, the Apple won't be able to capture the market. The Microsoft will remain the market leader. Okay, now moving forward, mastering balance. Rather than opposed to strength, judo practitioners learn to conserve their resource and maintain their balance by first giving way. In judo strategy, you have to learn to engage with the opponent in order to win. So that is the second principle. That is how we can build up, how we can master the balance. How we can master the balance. Rather than oppose strength to strength, judo practitioners learn to conserve the resource. So we have to just identify. We cannot go a fight against fight with our competitor. We can just focus on our competitive skill. The moment we have focused on our competitive skill, we have built up a moment for that. The moment we have built up a moment for that, now we have to just wait for a shorter period of a time so that we can build up other competitive skill, or meanwhile we can start gaining some kind of a resources. In judo strategy, we have to learn to engage with the opponent in order to win. So we have to learn how we can engage our opponent in order to win. So now this is the fourth technique: grip your opponent. This is what eBay have done to AOL. There were many ways to grip another player. So we have to identify how we can grip our player. If you want to avoid future combat, give potential competitor a stake in your success through the partnership, joint venture, or equity deals. Okay, so if you wanted to swift into the market in the easiest and safest manner, then definitely grip your opponent by sharing some percentage of your some share of your market with your opponent. Okay, so ultimately there won't be any kind of a price war will take place among between you. Okay, eBay had established a firm. Okay, how eBay had established a firm? eBay just gripped on AOL, which was left with little incentive to enter the partner space. In return for payments of 75 billion million dollar over 4 years, AOL agreed to make eBay the exclusive auction player on all AOL properties around the world, to co-brand eBay's auction under eBay at AOL name, and to sell as for the co-branded site. In addition, AOL pledged not to enter the auctions market for 2 years. What eBay have done is eBay have utilized the AOL's sites throughout the world. They have utilized the AOL sites for the auctions. What ultimately happened after that specific point of time, just after a period of 2 year, AOL got to know that AOL is nowhere in the market, but it's only eBay which have captured the already established market by AOL. This is what ultimately happened. Okay, so initially eBay just share the hand. Okay, extended their hand with the AOL that they both of them will do the business together. But slowly and gradually, eBay have completed the captured the whole market, and AOL will got to know that it's nowhere in the market. Okay, so that's how we can grip our opponent. Even eBay CEO Meg Whitman recognized that AOL could still decide to enter the auction market on its own. Okay, since the AOL can decide, as we cannot say that AOL don't have the money or they cannot change the game. Okay, but by providing AOL with an important revenue stream with margin estimated at nearly 90%, eBay was doing outmost to ensure that AOL would remain on the sidelines of the game. What eBay have done, they have extended the support, they have seek the support from AOL, and in return they have started giving them so much revenue from their revenue sources that AOL started thinking that yes, they are still in the market, but when this whole contract get over, the AOL got to know that AOL is nowhere in the market, but it's only eBay which has captured the market, and AOL was just happy to accept that specific stream of money which was provided by eBay for that specific period of a time. Now moving forward, that is the next technique number 5: avoid tit for tat. Despite our best efforts, a rival company will eventually decide to attack. Definitely, we cannot avoid competition from the opponent. Whatever we can do, whatever kind of a movement we will build up, we have to make sure that we should maintain a balance in the market. If we are not maintaining a balance in the market, we cannot make sure that the opponent won't attack back us. Okay, because it's the opponent's size, it's the opponent's market which we are capturing with our own new product. Okay, since the it's opponent's market which we are capturing, And after capturing a small opponent's market, we have started capturing the another share of from his market. Definitely the opponent will start attacking us, or the opponent will got to know aware about, will get aware about our activity. Okay, so once this will happen, we have to maintain our balance is a challenge. Okay, maintaining our balance is a challenge. Our gut will tell us, your gut tells you to match every move. Your instinct is to stop your opponent from getting the upper hand. Okay, so what ultimately will happen, the opponent will start attacking us, and the moment we will start the moment we will start receiving the attacks from the opponent, what our guts will say is that we should give the answer to that to our opponent. Okay, that's not the right choice. We have to avoid tit for tat. If our opponent has uh, started giving us the attack, we should have to wait. We should have to maintain a balance. If we are maintaining a balance, then ultimately we can attack our opponent, and we can attack with a greater move. But we should not do tit for tat. If we are facing any kind of attack from our opponent, we should have to wait. We should have to accept that specific attack. We should have to maintain our balance, and we should have to maintain our revenue stream. Okay, now that is the sixth technique, which is push when pulled. Now that is the important thing. The movement opponent is giving us the attack, we should have to accept that attack, we have to maintain our balance. And now the movement opponent started pushing us out from the market. At that specific point of time, we will pull our opponent and move out from the market. This is what Samsung have done to the Apple. By incorporating a competitor's product, service, or technology into your attack, you can throw him off balance and confront him with a painful choice whether to abandon his initial strategy or to watch it fail. What ultimately happened? Uh, Apple have created their own system of operating systems and softwares. They have created their own Apple Store. The moment Apple has entered into a market, Android started working on their own market. They have developed their own Play Store. Android have developed their own operating systems and so on. And the moment Android have done this thing, they have kept themselves at a very low pace. And at that specific point of a time, whatever the new applications was developing, the application developers, whatever they are doing, they are developing the new applications only for the Apple Care product, but not for the Android players. Slowly and gradually, Android market players or the Android software developers have started attracting the software developers, so that the software developers can also develop the applications for the Android. Okay, so instead of doing the tit for tat with the Apple, the Android players, the Android operating system players started giving incentive to the software developers, so that the software developers can generate the applications for the Android. And what was that incentive? That any kind of a software developer create any kind of an application, and they can freely install that application into they can make sure that the application should be freely available on Play Store. Okay, if the application is so much useful that the more and more number of people are downloading that application, the company will provide advertisement information to the specific application developer, so that the application developer can generate the revenues from that specific application. Okay, so that's what ultimately happens. Slowly and gradually, new and new software developers started developing the new and new apps. They have started providing these new apps to the Android, and instead of giving it to the Apple, they have started giving it to the Android. So what Android have done, they have avoided the tit for tat. They didn't enter into a market by buying the new and new uh, for buying the new and new applications. Instead of that, the Android started providing their platform at free of cost to the software developer at large. The second is push when pulled, by incorporating a competitor's product. So that's what the Samsung have done. Samsung have initially it was the Samsung which were providing the screen to the Apple. Okay, so since the Samsung was providing the screen to the Apple, what the Samsung have done, the Samsung have copied the Apple style of creating phone. Okay, they have started creating a phones with the round edge and so on. So this what ultimately Samsung have done. They have pulled the Apple product by providing them, by making sure that the Apple must be busy in buying the screens provided by the Samsung and the cameras provided by the Sony. In till the time Apple was busy in engaging this in creating this kind of a product, the Apple was busy in incorporating such kind of a product. That specific point of a time, Samsung have started copying the Apple's some of the features and the product features, and have incorporated the Apple's features into their own phone. Okay, so the moment you use this strategy, push when pulled, at the specific point of a time, we can confront our opponent with a painful choice, whether to abandon the opponent his initial strategy, or the opponent can watch himself as fail. Okay, so that is what these are the three strategies, and the most important strategy here is the technique number 7, which is practice ukemi. Ukemi is the first thing that new student of a judo learn. Okay, it is a critical discipline in judo strategy as well. You can conserve your resource and regroup in a better position for the confrontation ahead. Okay, so ukemi is the most important practice. Ukemi is the first thing that the new student of a judo learn. It is a critical discipline in the judo strategy. Okay, and this just tell that we should conserve our resources. We should conserve our resources. We should regroup our resources in such a situation for a better position, that whatever the kind of a situation we will face in our future, we should conserve some kind of resources so that we can fight with that specific number of resources in the future. Now the last is mastering leverage. How we can master the leverage? Now we have developed a movement, we have maintained the balance. Now we have to master a leverage, and these are the only technique for mastering the leverage. This stage is the most important part in designing your attack. Here you use the strength of well established player and use it against them only. Okay, so then only we can create the leverage. Okay, so technique 8 is leverage your opponent's assets, and the technique 9 is leverage your opponent's partners. Okay, so doesn't matter whether it's assets or whether it's partner, we have to focus on the leveraging opponent. Okay, it may sound trite, but a company's greatest assets can often become his greatest liability. This is what happened with the Nokia. Anything that represent a significant investment can become a barrier to change, which ultimately happens to the Nokia. And by exploiting those barriers, you can find the leverage you need to win. In addition to investing in valuable assets, many powerful competitors have built up a network of suppliers, distributors, and complementers who are significant source of strength. So, if you wanted to use someone's assets as your leverage, you can use someone's opponent's assets as your leverage. Or if you are not able to identify any kind of opponent's assets which you can use as a leverage, then then you can use opponent's partner as a leverage. So this is an example of a Pepsi Cola in this case. So what ultimately happened in this case, I will explain you. So, in addition to investing in valuable assets, many powerful competitors have built up a network of suppliers, distributors, and complementers who are significant source of strength. Pepsi Cola used this technique to pose the first successful challenge to Coke by offering consumer 12 full ounce for the same price as 6 1/2 ounce of a Coke. What ultimately happened is, so the Pepsi was aware about this thing, that they cannot capture the market till the time they must come up with a new thing in the market. Okay, so what ultimately Pepsi have done, Coca-Cola has already established a market of a glass bottle, and since the cost of a glass bottle and the the cost of a glass bottle is high. So what ultimately happen is that the Coke which is coming, the cola which was coming in that Coke bottle, was the amount of that cola was small. So the Pepsi have decided that they will come up with a steel can, and instead of providing 6.5 ounce of cola in the bottle, they will provide 12 full ounce of a cola in the tin can, and they will price the same, they will charge the same price. So what ultimately happens in the market, people will got to know aware about this situation, that the same, the both the companies are changing the same price, but the quantity which they are gaining, the people are, the customer are gaining, getting in Pepsi is high. So ultimately in this way, the Pepsi was able to capture a small market share, were able to enter into a market, and then slowly and gradually Pepsi have established themselves in the market. Now the last important technique is leverage your opponent's competitor. That's the important thing. Okay, compared to the first two leverage technique, this one should like child's play. One could be easy. What could be easier and more natural than allowing your competitor's competitor to wear him down? Okay, so यहाँ पे हम बोलते भी हैं दोस्त का दोस्त दुश्मन. So similarly, अगर हम अपने competitor को, if we focus on our competitor's strength, if we focus on our competitor's strengths, we can build up our own strength. If we focus on competitors strength, then in that case we can develop a new skill for us. We can focus on a new market, we can focus on a new technique. So that will ultimately help us to take the leverage over our opponent, as well as we can focus on the new market areas which the opponent's competitor are focusing. Okay, so this is the last thing which we food of thought for you. This report got published in 2018, and as per this report, it says that India is the third largest country in terms of publishing the article. Okay, and we are aware about this fact that we are the second largest population. So why cannot we should start writing more and more new articles, and we can leave America behind. The number is not, the difference is not much. Okay, we becomes the third highest country by after writing 135 papers, articles in 2018. So similarly and slowly and gradually we can publish more and more articles, and we can be the second highest or maybe the first highest country throughout the world in terms of scientific publications. So now that's all in judo strategy. The most effective judo strategy one can rely is a combination of a different techniques and principle. So whatever techniques and principle which we have learned today, we can focus on these principles and a principle, and if you will create a combination of these principles and techniques, then only you can come up with the most effective judo strategy for your own lifestyle or for the type of a company in which you are working. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.